The city at night was a different creature. The streets still buzzed with energy, but it was a rougher kind of life, the polished corporate masks stripped away, leaving only raw survival underneath. The sidewalks were slick with rain and neon light. Smoke curled from corner food carts. The hiss of frying oil mixed with the low hum of broken neon signs blinking against the dark. Samuel adjusted the strap of his bag and kept moving, each step automatic. Around him, Centropolis lived on, vendors shouting half-hearted offers, scavengers picking through public waste bins, night shift workers staring blankly ahead under the bruised purple glow of street lamps. Near a burned-out subway entrance, a musician played to no one. A battered acoustic guitar hung from his thin shoulders, fingers picking out soft, broken notes that barely rose above the city's constant hum. The song wasn't polished. It wasn't perfect. But it was real, stubborn, and human, defying the machines and the cold with every fragile chord. Samuel didn't stop, but the music followed him down the street like a shadow. It was beautiful, in a ruined kind of way. It was alive. And somehow, Samuel felt more at home in this broken city than he ever had in the glittering towers he once dreamed of conquering. The smell found him first. Grilled meat and spices, thick in the damp night air, cutting through the metallic tang of rain and neon. Samuel slowed instinctively. Half hidden between a boarded-up pharmacy and a graffiti-scarred alley, a street vendor worked a battered steel cart, steam hissing from a grease-slicked grill. The vendor was older, skin weathered by too many winters, eyes sharp and restless. His cart sign blinked half-lit letters, hot meals, fast, and no questions. A small, stubborn crowd huddled near the cart, exchanging crumpled bills for wrapped paper packages. Transactions done in murmurs, quick and quiet. Samuel wasn't even hungry. He hadn't been for days, not really. But he found himself stepping forward anyway, his hand reaching for a few battered coins tucked deep in his coat pocket. Maybe someone else could use it. Maybe Jenny. He waited silently as the vendor wrapped a piece of grilled meat and a few roasted roots into a waxed paper bundle. 3 creds, the vendor rasped without looking up. Samuel handed over the coins without a word, the metal cold against his fingers. The vendor gave him a nod, a tired, universal thank you, and turned back to his grill, the cycle already repeating with the next hungry face. Samuel stepped away from the cart, the bundle warm against his palms. He hadn't decided what to do with it yet. Not fully. But the idea was there, small, stubborn, alive, nestled somewhere just beneath the armor of habit he wore. Samuel spotted them again under the battered awning, Jenny huddled in her threadbare blanket, Buff curled tightly against her side for warmth. For a moment, he stood there, the bundle of food cooling slowly in his hands. He almost turned away. It would be easier to pretend not to see, to keep walking, to stay safely numb. Instead, he crossed the street. Jenny noticed him first, her eyes wary but not unfriendly. Buff raised his head, sniffing the air, tail thumping once against the pavement. Samuel knelt without a word and held out the bundle. Jenny hesitated. Then, seeing no threat in him, she reached out and took it, her fingers brushing his glove. "You're not from around here," she said, voice dry as dust, but carrying a spark of humor. "Too clean. Too careful." Samuel managed the ghost of a smile. "Maybe I just hide it well." Jenny chuckled, a quiet, broken sound that somehow warmed the cold night. She unwrapped the bundle slowly, breaking off a piece of meat and handing it to Buff first, who accepted it with a grateful lick. "You hear about the warehouse?" she asked between bites, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Samuel shook his head. Jenny shrugged, pulling her blanket tighter. "Old distribution center down by the docks. Used to be dead quiet. Past few nights, lights on. Trucks coming and going. People who don't look like they belong." Her voice lowered a little, more serious now. "Whole street's been talking. Something's happening down there." Samuel listened, filing the information away without comment. Jenny didn't seem to expect an answer. She fed Buff another scrap and leaned back against the wall, eyes drifting half-closed. Samuel stood slowly, adjusting the strap of his bag. "Thank you," he said quietly. Jenny cracked one eye open and gave him a lazy salute with 2 fingers. "Stay warm, stranger." Samuel nodded once and moved on, the city swallowing him again. But the seed was planted. The warehouse. The movement. The idea. And somewhere deeper still, beneath the weight of grief and failure, another seed stirred. Memory is not enough. Survival, that's the real story.